Hello everyone, this is Professor Patterns, and in this video we're going to be going over the Gemma 3 models. Now, I've been downloading these models locally to use on Open WebUI, and they've been great. A lot of people have been talking about this model right here, which is the 27 bill parameter model. However, the one that I've actually been using is the 1 bill parameter model. I would say don't sleep on this one because it's only about 815 megabytes. And initially, you might think, well, this is a really small model. It's not even going to work. It's going to be pretty garbage. However, I can tell you from my overall usage of Gemma 3, Mistral, all of these, even Qwen 2, all of these small models, the Gemma 3 1 bill parameter model has been really good. First, let me show you what it's going to look like. I'm going to go over the 1 bill parameter model. I also have the 27 bill parameter model that I have downloaded here, so we can also go over that one as well. Let's start with this one. I'm going to just have a conversation with it. And when I'm using this, I'm actually using the Kokoro Text-to-Speech. So if you don't know what that is, I will link a video in the description. You can definitely take a look at that one. It just does text-to-speech processing. So let's chat with the Gemma 3 1 bill parameter model. Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. I'm ready to assist you with whatever you need. Just let me know what's on your mind.
So I am wanting to create a YouTube video for my channel, and I want the video to be something about neural networks.
That's a great idea. Neural networks are fascinating. What kind of video are you envisioning? Do you have a specific angle or topic in mind?
No, I just want to teach it like for complete beginners. Like, how would you explain a neural network to a complete beginner?
Imagine your brain, but simplified. A neural network is like a network of connected nodes, each learning from the others. It learns by adjusting these connections, much like how your brain learns.
Okay, could you elaborate a little bit there?
Essentially, it's a system designed to recognize patterns. It starts with simple rules, then gets more complex, adjusting itself as it sees more data.
So as you can see, it's not complete garbage. Like it does make sense when it's actually talking here. Compared to a lot of these other smaller models, for even the Llama 3.2 1 bill parameter model, it doesn't come close to the performance of this one. I've even tried the Qwen 2.5, and this one at sometimes it just starts spitting out garbage. But this is one that I have been particularly impressed with. So I definitely recommend trying the 1 bill parameter model out. The 27 bill is also pretty good. It's got 128K context window. And this one, the multimodal vision, that's got the 4 bill parameter model that also has a 128K context window. So there are a couple of different evaluations here that you can look at. I don't know, the benchmarks part of things, like I'm always a little bit skeptical about it. I always like to use it first and then just try to get my own feel out of the models and see if I would ever use that model. I think that's my Professor Pattern sort of benchmarking strategy is, will this be a model that I will ever use, or will this be a model that I'm just going to use once and then throw it away when the new latest and greatest thing comes out? I will say that for the Gemma 3 1 bill parameter model, this is something that I might just keep using. For the Gemma 327 bill parameter model, I have used this. I don't know. It seems a little bit okay when it's giving responses. What I haven't tried it with so far is conversations. So let us do that. I'm going to go in here, and first I'm going to give it a system prompt. And the prompt will be something like, you are a conversational bot. Respond in short sentences, maybe 3 to 4 sentences at most. I will say that the Kokoro text-to-speech doesn't really do well with hyphens, so do not put in any hyphens in the response. Now, the Gemma 3 team, they do have a certain set of parameters that they recommend. I think if you look here under parameters, they do go over some parameters that make sense, and I think I've seen some more posts on Reddit. So it was for all llama specifically, use temperature of 0.1 And for other frameworks, use temperature of 1.0. So let's try that. Temperature of 0.1 on Ollama, because that's the backend that we are using. Let's go here, scroll all the way down to 0.1. And I'm just going to leave the other settings as default. I could go in and change them, but I don't think it's going to be that necessary. Let's go here and then try to see if we can start a conversation. Hey, I'm trying to make a video for my YouTube channel. Wow, this is a long inference time. Maybe it's just the model loading up the first time. That's why it's taking a second here. But I mean, it makes sense because it's not only using the Gemma 3 model, it's also using the Kokoro Text-to-Speech locally on my computer.
That is awesome to hear. What will your video be about? I can offer some basic suggestions if you like. Let me know how I can help you today.
How would you explain neural networks to a complete beginner?
Imagine teaching a computer to learn from examples. Neural networks try to mimic the human brain. They use connected nodes.
So in terms of the response, I feel like this is obviously a better quality of response, but if I'm using something like, or if I just want to have a regular, normal conversation, I might just stick with the one bill parameter model. If I feel like I just want a better response, sure, it does take a second. Like I wouldn't really consider the first response to be like significant just because it was actually loading up the model. I think the second one made a little bit more sense because it did take a second to load, but then it was able to give me a response, not as quickly as the one bill parameter model, but maybe there's a happy medium between the two. Now, something that we haven't looked at is the 4-bill parameter model. So imagine that this is one that you'd like to try, or even the 12-bill parameter, because the 4-bill is vision. So let's say that we want to download this model. All I'm going to do is just go over to my admin panel, click on settings, and then here I'm going to select connections, and then manage. I will paste Gemma 3 12-bill parameters, and then it's going to start downloading this model for me. Now, I don't need to be in this window because it does actually start downloading. So I don't need to wait here while it's doing this. So let me exit out of here while it's continuing this download. And just to double check, let me click on this again. And yes, it is still downloading. What we can also do is we can compare the Gemma 327 bill along with the 1 bill model and give it a couple of prompts. So here's one prompt. It's an email. And I'm going to say, respond to this email. Let's see how both of these models actually perform. This one directly goes into the email and is a breakdown, the core issue, and it does take a step-by-step approach. This is faster, but it doesn't actually give any sort of an email format. So obviously the 27-bill parameter model was able to pretty quickly figure out what the problem was, and it was also able to figure out that what you would need to do. And it is giving good instructions, right? Docker allows you to run Linux within your Mac, and then you can use the standard Kokoro text-to-speech container. Versus this one, it just says use it again, use Kokoro text-to-speech as a service. So I don't really know about the quality of these responses. Let's check to see if the GitHub links are correct. Nope, the links are also not correct. Let's try this one as well. That also says page not found. Let's see if this one provided any links or not. So we have a link here, and this is a link to Docker. Oh, yeah, that's true. And that link does work. So this one was a little bit more careful when it was giving links. So if I'm actually using it for writing or for reasoning, the 27-bill parameter model does actually perform a lot better. We can try one more thing. I'm going to ask it to give me a recipe for making the perfect Maggi noodles, which is the Indian version of ramen noodles. So here it says this isn't just about boiling water. It gives some instructions: oil, onion, garlic, ginger, chili flakes. Over here, it's giving sesame oil. Interesting. Okay, mirin, ginger. I don't know why it's suggesting all of these other things. But that is interesting. This one does recognize that it's one packet of noodles. This is usually the size. It's not usually measured in grams of noodles. I think in terms of what we should be doing, warm the water. I think that makes sense. Combine the ingredients, don't overcook it. Very important. Adjust consistency. Versus this one, it's making us saute the onion, garlic, and everything, and then build a flavor base, and then add water to the saucepan and bring it to boil. That's very interesting. I've never tried that recipe before. It might be something I might try. That's so saute all of the onion and garlic, and then add the water, and then cook the Maggi. Okay, but we can see that what the overall quality and differences between these models look like. Let's also add in the 12 bill parameter model. So that's Gemma 3, and because it hasn't loaded yet, let's just double check really quickly. We can just go here to the admin panel, select settings and models. So it looks like it is here. It just hasn't shown up yet. So let me try it one more time, or just refresh the page, and I think it should work after. So let's do that real quick. So Gemma 3 12 bill parameter, and then Gemma 3 27 bill parameter. Let's give it the same prompt about the email creation first. So it's a person that has trouble setting up Kokoro Text-to-Speech, and 27 bill along with the 12 bill. That's the thing that I'm comparing right now. So let's see which one does better, or if they do pretty much about the same. This is still able to figure out that this is an email, and it's able to respond like it's an email. It says Kokoro was designed to leverage NVIDIA CUDA for GPU acceleration. That is 100% true. Mac needs Apple's Metal framework. We need to bridge this gap. Yep, that is true. Here are some troubleshooting tips. Create a virtual environment, MPS support, and let's check the links to see if that works. Yep, PyTorch link, that works fine. It's giving some importance, so steps here, and then dependencies. Okay. And then also, again, it gives a response like an email. I think overall, in terms of just the raw quality, I do still appreciate this response more because also it has specific instructions. These two are the same. These two are the same. But this one also goes over like git cloning the repository. Let's double check to see as well if the repository link is working. I'm not sure what repository that is. Yeah, that didn't really work. Who is this user? JWalnut10. Interesting. Very interesting. Why did it just randomly recommend this user out of nowhere? Okay. Yeah. So, but anyways, we can see the responses between these two. So, sure, it's not 100% there yet in terms of Gemma 327 build, but I think the hype might be a little bit worthwhile just because of the fact that it is locally available. You can download it on your computer. We can even compare to see the performance of Gemma 3 with something like another larger model in comparison. Unfortunately, I don't think, oh, I do have the coder tools. I have the DeepSeek R132 build parameter model. So what we could do is we could, again, give it the same email and then compare the differences between the Gemma with the DeepSeek R132 build parameter model. Again, this is the distilled version of the model. It's not the full model. So let's see what this comes out to be. In classic fashion, we have the DeepSeek model here doing its own thinking before it gives us a response. But it is thinking for a while, maybe because I have both of them running simultaneously. Okay, so we can see that both of these emails are follow-ups. We can start with the Gemma 327 build parameter model. I like the overall approach that it's taking. It's actually asking questions to really understand like what's the reason, and then a couple of other steps that we can try. This is the DeepSeek R1 model response. So it also understands that we've asked this question before. This is a follow-up. It doesn't really ask follow-up questions. It just provides recommendations, which is still fine. Is just trying to troubleshoot like what problems there are. And okay, there we go. There it does end up asking some questions like what version of Mac are you running? Does it return true? And then are there any specific error messages? So both of these responses are good. I do like the DeepSeek R1 model maybe a little bit more. I think it's a lot more detailed. And it also has questions. If it didn't have any follow-up sort of debugging questions, then I probably would have just stuck with this response right here. But That's it for the Gemma 3 models. I showed you how we can use them for a couple of different purposes. We've looked at the 27 bill, the 1 bill, as well as the 12 bill.